Hello, today we're going to have a look at Captain Epic. Captain Epic is the upgrade to the old Captain Chords. Well, I say old, it's been around a couple of years, and it was a really useful tool. I've just installed it here. You can see that I've got all of the plugins that come with Captain Chords before. Now it's all called Captain Epic, but if you have a look at them, they're pretty much the same. It's got chords, it's got Captain Deep, which is like the baseline thing, Captain Beat, which is the same as before, that's the beat production suite, Captain Melody for top line melodies, and Captain Play to actually play live. So the way this has worked before, and it's continuing to work here with Captain Epic, is everything's kind of based around Captain Chords. So whatever bass lines or melodies you have that are played are just linked to Captain Chords. So let's just bring that into an empty track, a MIDI track. Okay, it says a new version of Captain's Play. I've just installed it and there's a new version available, but that's fine. I'm just going to cancel out of that. And the first thing you see is this little screen. And now I'm going to sort of expand it, make it a bit bigger by dragging here. And it looks really very similar to the Captain Chords thing. So it's got the chords, got the chord changes, so rhythm presets, progression presets. Starts with your favorite scale, which is A minor. All these sound presets, which you get with here. And it's got this sound design function where you can sort of change the delay field, just basic sound design thing, ping pong delay, basic stuff. Play music from plugin. If you click on plugins here, it'll scan for VSTs. It's still doing that by the looks of this, which is okay. And audio is muted, and Captain is outputting from MIDI notes only. You notice there's a new thing here called render audio. So in the previous Captain Chords, you could export the MIDI or drag the MIDI onto here. But we've also got new render audio, which we'll give that a go and see what that does in a second. Now let's just delve into the sort of the tool, and it's pretty easy to use really, because it's a top-down thing. So if you just looked at the left-hand side, you select your chord, then you go into the chord progression. So let's just do that. Now we've got these kind of preset banks. Let's just make some house music, and then within house music you've got these kind of top chords. So let's just choose whatever comes out, top chords, and click generate, and there you go. Piano, you've got some chords, and if you click generate again, refresh, just new chords will come up. It's all in A minor, so I guess you could just keep doing that until you find something that you like. And as I said before, you can just literally, if you like that, I actually think that doesn't sound too bad for generic chords. You can just export this by dragging it somewhere. Just dragged it into a new MIDI thing, and there's your MIDI. Exactly what was in Captain Chords. Now, further than that, what you can do then is click on the rhythm. So the same thing could have different types of rhythms. And now, because I'm trying to make some house music, I'm going to click on the house preset and select deep house. Okay, and then automatically goes to this repetition. So you've got within deep house, you have all these different types. So I like sexy. Let's pick sexy. See what happens. Let's change it up to shadow. And then you can change the complexity. Let's choose complex, medium, arpeggio, now let's just try something here. Let's go back to simple. Let's just go back to simple, and we'll select half notes. So let's drag that baby. Let's loop that, so we're always listening to that. And I'm just going to bring a basic keyboard sound into Ableton, Steinway piano. Actually, let's try a different preset. Now, what I like now is I can take that same chord progression and just change that up to an arpeggio. And let's just duplicate this one, so we've got the same VST popping up on the next track, so we don't have to bother with inserting it again. And then we can just export this MIDI. Now, let's have a list. So then you've got your chords, and you've got an arpeggiator, And this is what I would call like a song starter. I mean, you could just literally go into the song, just, change anything you don't like. So one really cool feature of the new Captain Epic is this chords thing on the bottom, which I don't recall seeing in the previous version. It just tells you the name of the chord and the number of the chord. So the first chord in A minor key is A minor, third is C major, and you got F major. So you've got all of these really good sort of descriptive pieces of information. The root chord is in blue. So let's see what happens when we select render audio, and we'll just solo that. So it has very quickly created an audio version, and then obviously because it's audio, you can do a lot of cool things, like you can mess with transients. So that's pretty cool. So we've got the plugins. So I'm going to pick a plugin. Let's pick Repro. This is my favorite. Pick a keyboard preset. Let's mess with the filter on Repro. That's pretty nice. So that's pretty nice that you can do that with Repro. Keep it on the same, keep it in the same track. Really, you don't need to create a new track, which is kind of handy. And as you can see here, if you click on the filter and click in Captain Chords, you'll see all of these things that you can actually automate, which is pretty nice. So we're using a Repro, but we're using the filter from Captain Chords. Just see how that sounds. Very, very nice. So yeah, automation is possible using some of these tools, combining external VSTs with some of the reverb, delay, filter effects that are in the system. You've got volume here. I guess you could automate that too. So obviously what you can do now is you could actually move parts of the notes around. I don't think you could have really done that before, but that will affect the integration with things like Captain Deep. And that's actually really, really useful. And I know it's a feature that most producers want. Very nice. You can now pretty easily just render the audio, taking a bit of time, but you can render the audio. You should be able to hear the Repro, which is external VST, in the audio output. For me, the selling point of Captain Chords is Captain Deep and all of the other stuff that goes with it. But I really love Captain Deep. So let's just create a MIDI track here. Let's get Captain Deep going in there. So let's now go and check out Captain Deep. Let's just play it. So immediately you get something which could be useful. Similarly, you can actually plug in a VST. I'm not going to do that right now, but if you want, you can change the sound that you are using. You can use analog bass. And some of these sounds aren't too bad. Now let's go back and let's see. There's no filter. That's a bit of a pity. Oh, here it is. Silly, there is a filter. Here we go. There's quite a lot here actually in terms of sound design possibilities. It's got some reverb sounds. Nice. And this is powered by Phase Plant, which is a really, really very powerful sound machine, really. So this is fantastic. It's got Glide. Let's try that. Okay, so let's try now change the rhythm. So let's click on the rhythm. Let's go back to house. Let's get some house presets. I don't know. Let's try classic funk. That's pretty nice. Let's try disco. So this is where the sound itself, sound preset might be a bit limiting, but that's fine. Then you can obviously do what we just did before, was we can take a pencil and start getting some notes, put in there. Excellent. It's got magic record, so that's coming soon. It's not with us now, but I'm assuming you'll be able to key in your own bass line and record it, which sounds nifty. But yeah, other than that, there's not really much more to it. The thing that is the selling point for Captain Deep is the fact that it follows the chords in Captain Chords, which is here. Now, also, actually, I think some of the automation is pretty nice as well. We've got all these different automation possibilities, but we are going to now just go further into the thing and then click on Captain Beat. Now, I'm going to confess, I didn't use Captain Beat a lot in previous versions of Captain Chords. I just used Captain Deep and Captain Chords, but let's give it a go. I mean, that doesn't sound too bad. That's a 4 on the floor kick. So let's just try and change the rhythm back to house music. So you've got all these different types of presets. Let's try Don't Hesitate. Now, I've also got Kickstart too, and this is shouting out for sidechain compression. So let me just see if I can find some sidechain compression. Now let's just drag that onto Captain Chords track. There it is. So unfortunately, what looks like to be a limitation to me with Captain Beat is you can have that sort of really nice beat going on, but you can't really sidechain the kick. You sidechaining the whole thing, which is kind of pointless. So yeah, I see that being a problem. I think the way around that problem is to duplicate Captain Beat. So you just duplicate it there. So on the first one, you just keep the kick. So you just solo the kick. And on the second one, you will mute the kick. So we just listen to the kick one. So therefore the solution is you just drag the kickstart 2 on the chords, and then you want to side chain the first one, which is Captain Beat Epic, which is the kick only. This is side chaining to the kick. I like kickstart too because you've got that band thing as well, so you only need to sidechain the low frequencies. Now let's listen to the whole thing. We can obviously copy now that sidechain from kickstart to the bass Captain Deep track. You can actually select different drum kits, so you can select an 808. So let's listen to that. Drums and bass. Now, obviously, by listening to this, you're thinking this is a bit of a generic sort of sound, and it's, to be honest with you, when I was using Captain Chords a couple of years ago, when I first got it, I really loved it because it was a really creative tool and it allowed me to come up with some really creative solutions. But I did notice that some of the songs started sounding similar. And I think the reason for that is because the sounds were pretty generic. But all you need to do is replace those sounds with your own VSTs. You couldn't really change any of the chords, but you can here now. You can change the MIDI, you can move the MIDI around. So you can actually come up with something relatively unique with this version, especially if you have lots of problems creatively. This is definitely a fast and creative way to help you create music. Now, The other thing I've noticed also is that export feature is excellent because you can do so much with audio. You know, you can chop it, change it, move it around. I really like that export feature quite a lot, and I think that's actually going to take it a little bit out of the more sort of previously more boring static sort of range that it was in before. It's not boring, but you know what I mean? It's like if you've made 4 or 5 songs, they do sound a little bit similar. So it's just like any tool. It's just a tool. You need to be creative as you can with it, and you need to do your best with it. I've also used Scalar for exactly the same reasons. For me, Scalar is still the go-to tool for chords, but this is more of a band-in-the-box type thing where you can just create an entire instrumental really quickly. You could use that to come up with your own lyrics. You can use it as a backing track, put your lyrics on top of it, and then if you like it, so it's a kind of a sketching tool. If you like what you've done, put your lyrics on, you like what you've done, then you could say, you know, this is a serious song, let's build it, you know, so let's pad it out and make it better. Or you could just go to the extreme and just make your entire song on Captain Chords Epic. You can just go for it, and that could easily be a good solution, but to do that, you really need to understand the tool and every aspect of the tool really, really well. It's not a difficult system to learn, to be honest. And the other sort of use case is you can use this to play live. You know, there's Captain Play as well. I haven't shown you that because I don't use it enough, so I don't feel qualified enough to go into it. But there is a live possibility. If you want to perform live with this tool, this will help you. So yeah, lots of use cases, lots of uses for it. I'm still a fan of it. I'm definitely going to use it a lot more. I'm actually intending on creating a full song with it just to see how far I can go with it. And I will record that so you guys get the benefit of seeing me make mistakes. And yeah, I think it's good that it's come out. It wasn't too expensive. You still have to pay for the upgrade. You still have to be online. It's not one of these offline tools, which I know was a criticism when it first came out. But to me, it's not a big deal. So anyway, if you got this far, thanks for joining me. And if you've got any questions about any of this, put in the comments and be happy to help. See ya.